Caesar de Bello Gallico, Book 4, Chapter 25. That which, remember the relative adjectives, try the that which first. When Caesar perceived that which, or when Caesar perceived, in this case, which. What's which? It's the difficulty that his troops were having getting on board land. He ordered that, let's look for a verb, remowery. So he ordered that. We have to be removed. What to be removed? What's your subject phrase? Infinitive subject phrases are accusative. That the long ships, which would be the ships of war, whose genitive possessive, the appearance of whom, or whose appearance, and was both and was both more unusual to the barbarians, and the motion of which, the ships, was understood more quicker or more quick to the use. He ordered these warships to be removed a very little, a bit, from the onarious burden ships, the merchant ships, which would be the troop transports, and he ordered the naves longes to be pushed on by oars, and another infinitive of his command clause, to be stationed on the open flank, at the open flank. It's an odd plus accusative limit phrase, so it's near, because there's no verb of motion, of the enemy. And that, this is what he also ordered, the enemies be repulsed and be removed from there. How are you going to remove them? Well, you got warships, so you've got ablative means phrase, well, in this case, ablative of cause. This is how they're going to be removed. By slings, by tormentis, which of course would be the shooting engines, it says, and by arrows, which thing was for a great use. This would be both dative, I think, dative of purpose, for our men, dative of reference. So therefore, he now gives his warships, brings them in close, starts providing, we would call it now, suppressing fire. For the barbarians, having been much alarmed, we have an et, so therefore look for another et. There's another et. There's another et. Ooh, polysyndeton. Alarmed, ablative of means. In this case, it's ablative of cause because it's passive. By the shape, by the figure of the ships, and by the motion of the waves, and by the unusual type of shooting engines, missile launchers, they constituent, they halted, and now they retulerant, carried back their feet a little. So we got a little bit of a breathing room for our boarding parties, for our landing parties. And now therefore we have that been removed. And ablative absolute clause, conctantibus, with delaying. So with who delaying? Ablative agent phrase, ablative subject phrase of an absolute clause. With our soldiers delaying greatly on account of the depth of the sea, the altitude of the sea. That guy who, now we see a nice that guy who was carrying the eagle of the 10th Legion, Caesar's favorite, and this is obviously the most brave guy, having contestator, having attested, besought the gods. That complement clause, what do you think? Purpose? Result? Or is it an indirect command? Result, mostly. That winnerant, that thing would happen happily for the legion, dative of purpose, I guess, says to his buddies, jump down, imperative, second plural, soldiers, unless you wish to what? Protere, infinitive complement clause, to betray the eagle to the enemies. Ah, that's the most important thing for the Roman legion is their eagle. And here's the eagle bearer showing his great courage. I certainly shall have performed, will have performed, notice it's a plu future, my duty to the republic and to the commander, dative of indirect object phrase, I think you could say, right? Because I will perform, or could be for purpose, you know. When he might, when now, why is this in the plu perfect subjunctive? We'll have to talk about that later. So let's just act like it's an indicative. Oh, that's definitely cum. When he had said, that's why it's subjunctive, because it's in a cum clause. So it's might have said is wrong. So when he had said this, ablative means phrase with a great force, great voice, he threw himself from the ship, pro plus the ablative, from the ship, and he began to carry the eagle into the enemies. Then our boys, having been encouraged, no, not having been encouraged, because it's deponent, cohortor. So therefore, our boys, having encouraged amongst themselves, all together, una versi, jumped down out of the ship, lest admitteretur, so that result clause, so that would not be admitted or would not be allowed. What would not be allowed? Tantum de decus, such a great disgrace be allowed. When the others, and there's your complement, relative adverb with a pluperfect subjunctive, when the others had beheld also out of the nearest ships, they having followed closely, they approached, and approach takes the dative. They approached the enemies. So, nice little story of how Caesar sets up the battle for tactical commands. This is what he figures out when he gets there, that I'm going to wow them with his technology and arrows and slings and missile launchers. Provides the suppressing fire. This is the first time we see artillery being used, by the way, in all of recorded history. It's the first time we see artillery being used in a land battle to provide suppressing fire. And the soldier boys are now given a little bit of breathing space, but it still relies on the aquilifer of the 10th Legion to say, I'm going to go do this, guys. Who's with me? Oh, and they all go with him. So Caesar was able, with strategy, tactics. Tactics are close stuff, to get a little breathing space, and then he is aided by the ferocious heroism of one soldier changing the tide of battle. This is exciting. Excelsior.